wake up.
John, we have to leave it there for now. If you can stay, we'd be grateful if you would. We have to go to Melbourne now, where Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is speaking.
We've done all of that without increasing taxes. The same cannot be said of the Labor Party. And today the Australian people find out the true cost of Labor's new taxes. Labor's new taxes will total $387 billion over the decade. I repeat, Labor's new taxes will total $387 billion over the decade, an equivalent of $5,400 for every Australian household. Tax as a share of the economy will climb under Labor to 25.9%, a record for any government in Australia if Labor was given their chance. These numbers are based on Treasury costings and reveal the unprecedented scale and size of Labor's desperate tax grab. A desperate tax grab that will cost jobs and weaken the Australian economy. At a time when the Australian economy faces challenges, both internationally and domestically, including the impact of flood and drought, Labor's answer is higher taxes. Higher taxes on your income, higher taxes on your business, higher taxes on your superannuation, higher taxes on your house, and higher taxes on retirees' hard-earned savings. In clear contrast, the Coalition is lowering taxes. We've already legislated $144 billion of tax cuts that will help more than 13 million Australian taxpayers. And in the budget last week, we unveiled the largest tax cut since the Howard government, with an additional $158 billion of tax cuts, which will see people earning up to $126,000 get up to $1,080 in their pockets in just 12 weeks' time when they put in their next tax return. If you're a tradie and a teacher, each earning $60,000, your home will be $2,160 a year better off in your pocket in just 13 weeks' time, money that will go to the monthly mortgage, the quarterly energy bill or the yearly car insurance premium. We're also cutting taxes for small business, fast-tracking tax relief down to 25%, as well as extending in the budget the instant asset write-off to $30,000 and extending it to companies with turnovers up to $50 million. This is a substantial plan to lower the tax burden across the economy on income earners and business. The choice for the Australian people at the next election could not be clearer. The Coalition stands for lower taxes and is delivering lower taxes, more jobs and higher growth. The Labor Party stands for $387 billion of higher taxes, which will weaken the economy and cost jobs. The Australian people should take the advice of Chris Bowen, and if they don't like Labor's tax grab, then don't vote for them. Are there any questions?
Can you categorically confirm that these reported figures are from Treasury?
These are Treasury costings, and as Wayne Swan said when he was Treasurer of Australia, Treasury do cost alternative policies, and it's important to have an informed debate.
Who ordered these costings?
We did.
Last week the Treasury told the Senate estimates that they couldn't and wouldn't be doing those costings, so why have they done them now?
Well, we have had alternative policies costed, and just as Wayne Swan did back in 2012, when he had alternative policies that were costed and said that it contributes to the informed debate for the Australian people, so too this time. The Australian people deserve to know the true cost of Labor's policies. Now, it's up to the Labor Party to come out and dispute those numbers, because I see at the press club that Chris Bowen, just a few days ago, said the difference on income tax, for example, between the Coalition and Labor was $6 billion. I see that on retirees tax, he has put out a PBO costing at $56 billion. You see, the Labor Party is not disputing the fact that they are punishing the Australian people with higher taxes. I heard Penny Wong on radio this morning. She did not dispute this number. This number is an accurate reflection of the new taxes that the Labor Party will hit all Australians with. And it will be disastrous for the Australian economy, because you can't put that amount of new taxes, the highest tax burden in Australia's history, on the Australian people without affecting economic activity, without affecting jobs, without affecting growth. This is exactly the worst time for Labor's ill-conceived and desperate tax grab. The Labor Party can't manage money, so they're coming after yours.
Does this exercise comply with the Charter of Budget Honesty obligations?
We have complied with all our obligations, and what we have done is explain to the Australian people the true cost of Labor's desperate tax grab. The Labor Party can't manage money, so they're coming after yours.
And how long have you had the costings in your possession?
We've put out the costings, obviously, at the start of this campaign.
So how long have you had them?
We've only had them for a short period of time, but the fact is that these costings are an accurate reflection of Labor's tax grab. Now, it's up to the Labor Party to come out and say what the true cost of their policies are. The Labor Party has rejected tax cuts for millions of Australians. The Labor Party voted against tax cuts for small businesses. The Labor Party does not stand for lower taxes.
How short of a period, and when did you order them?
Look, we, as a part of being in government, and now we're in caretaker mode, we obviously wanted to cost alternative policies, so we did it over the course of that period. But the clear, well, that's not a matter for you, that's a matter for the government. And we had those costings done, but the reality is now that the costings have been done of alternative policies, we've made it very clear to the Australian people.
Why sit on them to release them on day one of the campaign then?
Well, this is a campaign and people need to know the choice. And the choice is very clear. The choice is between a coalition which has promised and delivered lower taxes for Australians and lower taxes for their businesses. A coalition that has delivered higher growth than when we came to government. A coalition that has delivered lower unemployment compared to what we inherited when we came to government. A coalition that has just delivered a budget surplus, the first surplus in more than a decade. The last time Labor delivered a surplus was in 1989. The Labor Party can't be trusted with this big experiment on the Australian economy. It's exactly the worst possible time for $387 billion of new taxes.
There's some reporting that this figure relies solely to the cap on accountants' fee deductions. Do you endorse that reporting, or can you explain how it potentially is?
Well, I'll be putting out a document later this morning which will detail tax by tax, state by state, how this number was arrived at, and it breaks it down into the cost for the retirees tax, the cost of Labor's housing tax, the cost of Labor's income tax, the cost of Labor's tax on trusts and family businesses, and the costs on Labor's superannuation. You see, the Labor Party doesn't believe in aspiration. The Labor Party does not believe in lower taxes, and we do, and that's what we've delivered.
Do you accept that there needs to be a reasonable level of taxation in Australia to support public services, and if so, what is that reasonable level?
Well, we've outlined it in the budget. 23.3% is our taxes to GDP, or our tax share of the economy. You see, as I pointed out at the start, Chris Bowen, in his own words, set us a test, saying tax needed to be below 23.7% as a share of the economy. That's the discipline that he set the coalition. Well, we've beaten that discipline because we're at 23.3%. The Labor Party has avoided that discipline. the Labor Party has avoided a tax to GDP cap. And the reason being, and today's numbers reveal it, is because under Labor, Australians will pay a record amount of tax, $387 billion, and a tax to GDP ratio of 25.9%, the highest on record.
Is that a gross or net? Last question.
That it takes into account the net impact, the 25.9% of some of the other tax changes that they have introduced, and what that reveals is that Labor's tax grab is the highest in Australian history. It's a tax grab that will weaken the economy. It's a tax grab that will cost jobs. It's a tax grab that really will be against Australia's national interest. Thank you.